Hi, Cassie. Is my music going right now? Can you give me a thumbs up if you don't mind? Thank you, hon. Good to see you. Happy you're here. Hi, subconscious personality. It is? Okay. Thank you. Let it play about, 4 minutes or however long it is. I can't hear it on this end. So I'll be here in a second. Hi, folks. Oh gosh, I'll try not to get emotional. It's just things have transpired, been kind of weird for me for the last few days. I'm not turning my camera on. I have no makeup on. I'm in my pajamas and a robe. I'm holding a rice. I have some rice in like a cloth, cloth napkin tied up in a knot. It's perfect. It's light, and I'm holding it on my jaw and around my ear area. I think it's called the mandibular or mandible bone, or I don't know, something I can't remember what the dentist said. But, every time I have a little something going on, I don't have to get on here and, oh, woe is me. But I don't think I'm going to be doing a live for the rest of the week if some of this pain doesn't go away. I'm keeping it at bay with Motrin, and I took 5 minutes ago, and or 10, and then I went ahead and took 2 Tylenol. Um, I just want to let my friends on here and people that follow me or whatever know what's going on. Um, so I was having, well, my tongue felt swollen. It was weird. And I was like, what on earth? And that was clear back like on Wednesday, just a little bit. Then I thought maybe I had a canker sore on the side of my tongue. And I did. I had a little bit of one, you know how those come and go. I've heard it can be lack of vitamin B, and yogurt's really good. And I take a multivitamin and stuff every day. But, do I eat fantastically? No. Um, Thanks, you guys. Thanks. Hi, Sleuth Fairy, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Sean B., and Subculture's Personality, Kessie Thompson, all of you. Thank you. Um, And then my tongue was even like more swollen, not the whole tongue, just in back, kind of where you swallow. So I'm like, what the heck? Is this, am I getting like a weird strep throat? What the heck's going on? But, I actually, the third day, gargled with, and switched around with peroxide. I did that because my son wanted some in his ear when he had an earache over a weekend when I couldn't get him to the doctor. And I would rather get myself and my kids are grown, as you all know, to a doctor than even self remedy things and make sure what's going on. But it was weird. It actually got rid of it. Like it got rid of it. I didn't put a lot in there. But I mean, I said, how's your ear? The next day he said, it feels fine. And then he never brought it up again. And we're the kind of family where when we don't feel good, we let each other know. It's just, a given. We don't keep it to ourselves. So I thought, well, and I've never ever put that in my mouth. Well, it said on the back of it, you can do it for, it even said a child 2 and up, but you want to, not swallow it, of course. I don't really recommend it. I did it with some water, and then I did it just plain because I didn't feel like maybe it was doing a good enough job. And it left this weird kind of, I mean, I don't know what gasoline tastes like. Of course not. But it was like this strong kind of something peppery, gasoline-y, I don't know, taste to it, it seemed. But it kind of took the sting out when it wasn't even that bad. And that was like on Thursday evening. Well, Friday I woke up and now it's still hurting in that area. And I had just been to the dentist. I thought it was a week prior. It had been a good 10 days when, remember, I did that one live and one side of my mouth was like, my lip was up higher than the other. And Barbara Smith thought maybe I was having a stroke. And she said, you need to get to the hospital. Then she heard, I had shots of Novocaine and whatnot for a large cavity that was in between and connected to two of my teeth, way in back on the top. And I've never had a lot of cavity issues or even dental issues. By the time I was 50, I had 1.5 cavities. Like, that's it. So I have really good teeth and terrible eyesight. Anyway, but as you get older, things happen, right, with your teeth. So, okay, so I'm like, well, if it's a cavity brewing down there, they would have found it. And yes, I do have another one that needs to be filled that's smaller next to the upper one I just had done. So it just can't be a cavity. So I thought, and yeah, I haven't been eating popcorn or anything to like stick in there and hurt the gum. The gum felt swollen. So I stuck my fingers in my mouth and it was like down in the bone, the jaw bone area, like below your tongue almost, way in back. Like that's where I was touching. And it wasn't swollen on my right side, but it was on my right. So then, I'm like, oh my God, I hope it's not bone cancer. But then I just dismissed that out of my mind because, I highly doubt that's what it is. And I just had things done, x-rays, checkup, whatever, a month ago. And so I'm telling you all these details because it's just how it's transpired. And I'm a very detailed person anyway. Hi, Teresa Mills. Hi, everyone. Um, yeah, try not to give me too many advices because I'm going to go through this little story and then I'll read back your comments and ideas and things because I can't push all the way back to the beginning of the comments. So if you can hold off on those just a little bit, that'd be really good. Um, okay, so and I appreciate it. Don't think I don't. Just like with my finger, right? I got all kinds of good advice and helpful and kind words. So, um, okay, so I woke up Friday morning and I was like, I got to get to the dentist. They just got to look in there. I even took a placker floss and got way back there and got that thing down. My teeth are pretty close together, kind of tight. So, do I floss? No. I mean, I brush, but I don't floss. And then I'll do it one day or one night and I'll stop again. And I have nice plackers, with the thing on the end. And these are like, not oiled or whatever, but whatever, makes them slippery. But I'm just too lazy to take the time, which is wrong and bad. But okay, so I wake up and it hurts. And I'm like, okay, I can't get to the dentist this weekend. I've got to call. Now, the lady said if you have any problems, because she had shaved down a little bit, just a little where the cavity was, up there, and I was chomping on a piece of paper before I left to make sure it was an even bite and all this. If any problems, call us the next day. Of course, it was 10 days later, right? We'll get you in. Well, I thought maybe, oh, okay. Hi. Hi, Halloween baby. Hi, everybody. Thank you. All right, so I thought maybe it was that. I thought maybe my jaw, the tops of my teeth were coming down on my gums, right? I mean, it wasn't sliding over. It didn't look funny and it didn't feel funny. So that's what I initially thought it was. So I called the dentist and it said they weren't open yet. It's like 7:30 in the morning. But they said if you need to speak to someone, connect to another number through the dentist. So I did. She ended up, I told her everything that happened, what I think it might be, but I don't know, this and that. And she said, I've triaged you, which I didn't even know they could do for dental stuff, but I mean, it makes sense. And you need to be seen in the next 4 hours, or you need to go to the ER. And I'm just like, at first I'm on the phone with her, and she thought my filling was down below. And that's when it was the day, right? Friday was the day of that hurricane down south. And by the way, prayers to all of you down southeast, as they say. I've been following this religiously while the hurricane was coming in, thinking about all of you southern states down there and worrying and praying and hoping for the best. And it was horrific, as you all know. I saw all those people stranded on top of that, 54 people on top of that Tennessee hospital because the dam broke and went into the river and ambulances were nearly submerged. I saw all of that. Hi, William Vasquez. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I call her and I bring up the storm because the phone got disconnected. Okay, I'm explaining all this stuff in detail to a random operator out there. And the last words to me are, you might have a bone fracture. Now, now I knew she meant like, well, a bone fracture, but when she said it, I was thinking like, you know how when you get a filling or even a tooth pulled and it's called a spur? I think it's called a spur, and it's part of the bone fragment gets stuck in there, whatever. So I hear this and I'm like, what? And the phone dies. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to talk to her again. So I call back, and the lady looked up in her notes. She was Tanya. She said, oh, you were speaking with Tanya. She was really nice. I'll reconnect you. She just said in her notes, oh, I lost her. And anyway, we reconnected, thank God. And so I called the place, and I've never done standby where you wait. And I really didn't want to wait like 5 hours in the morning. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew I needed to be seen. And I said, how many spots are there? Like 50? And the guy said there's 10, and 2 are filled right now. So now it's like 8 o'clock. And he said, if you get down here or down there, and he's clear in another state, then, you can get in. And I did. I got dressed. I put my glasses on. I made sure I had gloves on my hands. It was a little bit cold and grayish here. And I got on my bike. Took me 15 minutes to go about, it was probably 1 mile. And I got there, and one person was done, and another lady was waiting, but the first person was done, so I was second, and I was so relieved. Well, they come out and they check every hour. So it's not one after another, it's like they check each hour. So I got there at 8:30, and by like 9:36 or something, I was called in back. And I said, I'm so glad to be here. This is what's going on. So I'm also telling details like this, hi Freeside, because people that are younger watching me, like even in their, whatever, 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, because everyone knows I'm 62 now. And trust me, it creeps up on you. Age is there, getting older before you know it. Like I remember age 55, and I remember, you know what I mean? So here at 62, I'm at the dentist, and he said, well, he looked in there. I told the nurse, everything, and he was a regular dentist. He was probably all of 37 years old. He really knew his stuff. He was so sweet and kind, soft spoken, just really nice dentist. And he said, well, let's try to get this figured out, or whatever he said. And he said, I'm going to check and make sure your teeth aren't dying or aren't dead. I think he said dead. And I kind of giggled. I was like, oh, okay, And so he took that little silver thing and he hit a couple of the 2 teeth down below near the area. And he said, is that tender? And I said, yeah, a little. Even when I brush, I mean, they don't feel loose, but they don't feel as strong, anymore as when I was younger. And he goes, yeah, that's normal. And then he said, okay, I'm going to put some cold on it, right? Maybe you guys have had this. So I knew, it wasn't going to feel great, but I didn't know it was really going to hurt. And he said, raise your hand when you feel the cold, and when the cold dissipates, is gone, put your arm down. Well, I didn't do it real quick. He counted 7 seconds on both teeth that he did. And I told him, I said, I felt it going away. I'd honestly say within 3. And he said, okay, that's actually a better sign. I said, I just don't think I was quick enough bringing my arm down. I explained that I had a stroke, 3.5 years ago. I'm just feel like I'm a little slower in everything. I mean, I can move and I can do things, but everything changes a little bit. Um, so we did the freeze test and it hurt, I mean, it felt like it was so cold. It felt like fire on your tooth. So that was done. So then he wanted an x-ray done, to really get a look at the roots and the bones and this and that. And he saw the other cavity that I needed to have filled up above and the one little one down in front, which I already have scheduled. And the x-ray thing, it's that circle and they stick the whole darn thing in your mouth and then you're supposed to wrap your lips over it. Well, because it was tucked so far down under the side back of my tongue. Hi, Aussie True Crime. Hi. Um, I couldn't close my lips over it. She tried it 3 times. And then finally she just pulled the circle thing off, part off, and held the little square, I don't know, is that the camera? I guess it is. Right against my gum, she tucked it down into my cheek, nearish back behind my tongue, like down in there to get the roots. And that wasn't even that easy. She had another lady even pull the little light switch or whatever, the switch. So that was fine. I breathed through my nose and got that done. I'd say within about 15 minutes, he came back and he said, well, I have some good news, but then, he said, there's no abscess, there's no infection, there's no pus, it's not a cavity. And then he showed me my x-ray, and there it was. My wisdom tooth was pushing against my other tooth down there. And before I even had a chance to say, I thought wisdom teeth came in way before the age of 62, he said, unfortunately, at times wisdom teeth can come in later on in life. And it's just one tooth, and I can see it as clear as day. So that is what's causing the inflammation down there, the soreness, the redness, the puffiness, and the gosh darn pain. So then he said, if it gets really bad, you would have it pulled. But he said, I advise against that because that tooth is in the mandibular or whatever area that is, that's connected to a big blood vessel. And he said, and that's why you're feeling pain up in your ear a little bit, right? Into the something tube. And he said, so I would advise against that. And of course I said, well, I've never even had a tooth pulled. So yeah, don't worry, I'm not going to have it pulled. He said, and I would refer you to an orthodontist or, whatever they're called, those surgical ones. But he said they're not accepting insurance or blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, is this going to be like for the rest of my life or until the one tooth comes in? Is this going to be off and on for weeks? I said, I know you don't really know. Everyone's teeth and mouths are different. And that's what he said. He said, in a week, the pain could be gone and then it could come back or whatever, right? Or I could have a little pain every week while it's pushing through. But yeah, I Googled it and it said it takes a year for a wisdom tooth to pull in. So now I don't know if I'm going to have pain off and on for a whole year. I hope to God another tooth doesn't decide to come in there. But That's what I'm dealing with, you guys. So I was really relieved, so relieved, leaving and knowing what it is, and could put, because I just instantly think of like the most negative things all the time. Oh God, bone cancer, whatever, right? And just waiting for the other shoe to fall off. But this has just been really a rough year. It's just been rough dealing with things, with everything I've dealt with, right? All the cyberbullying in the past, my ex-husband's whatever he's doing, because he's got his issues, and the finger, dealing with that for 2.5 months. But honestly, you guys, the pain in my finger, and I told my daughter this and my son, the pain in my mouth, even though it stings now and then and feels like someone's poking it, not with a pin, but something, it's more of a sting than a throb. And he asked me, does it hurt when you're not touching it or only when you touch it? And I said, when I touch it. But I said last night, it really kind of hurt into my ear, and I wasn't even touching it. So I feel like after going through the, having nearly losing my left finger and fracturing it and acute laceration, that's what the ER paper said, down to like, or possibly through the tendon, because I have trigger finger in it now. I can't bend it. Um, I don't know. I almost feel like I can go through anything. And really, you have no choice, right? A lot of people have chronic pain in their back and in their legs and in their knees and hands and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just going through life, you know. I've been blabbing for, well, I don't know, music was on a good 5 minutes, about 23 minutes. And these comments up here say, make a paste. If you only have ground cloves, mix them with water to make a paste. Yeah, I've heard about, well, not making a paste out of ground cloves, but you know what? I like that idea. And I'm going to the store tomorrow. So, I mean, I guess I could press the cloves with a spoon like garlic. I'm not quite sure. Or ground cloves. I'll just look for a bottle of ground cloves. I didn't know they made ground cloves. I don't bake, so like I don't even have any cloves. Thank you for that. And then you also say subconscious personality. Chew or suck. You could chew or suck on a whole clove to release its oil and relieve pain. Apply directly, place a whole clove on the affected area until the pain subsides. Yes. And heat is nice. I asked him, should I use cold or heat? He actually said cold. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't do it. I grabbed this little, hear it, rice thing in my hand. So, and I do have like, what is it called? Embasol or whatever that's called somewhere. I need to dig that out. Yeah, I just don't feel good. Oh, peppermint oil. Yeah, so it's one tooth, it's not the end of the world, it's like, you know, it's weird. Like you just don't expect to go through any more little, I mean, anything, right? Once you've gone through a big thing with your finger, or like if somebody, falls down and breaks a hip and then something happens and they're back in the hospital. I mean, it just makes me, I'll just end with this, you guys. It's really true. If you have your health and you feel okay, I mean, you almost have everything. I mean, we all want lots of friends and a significant other and, some extra money and maybe a pet if we're not allowed to have one at our apartment, and, decent weather we don't have to be afraid of. But when you're dealing with like pain coming and going or constant, or it's hard. And I don't even have it as hard as many people that I know, you know. So like Mab dealing with his jaw, he had it broke on purpose so he could have surgery done. He would have died without the surgery. He had obstructed apnea so bad. That's how bad it was for Mab, who has his own channel, Mab Investigates. And he's still suffering now and then. I mean, I see him talk about it a little bit on Dolly Vision in chat. He's like, yeah, my jaw is numb and it's really bugging me and feeling weird. So don't take your health for granted. Don't take your young ages for granted. And don't think, you know, I mean, I don't know. I never thought I thought if I would have a stroke or even a heart attack, I'd be in my 70s or 80s, you know, a little bit like Jimmy, right? He turns 50 and boom, he didn't just have a heart attack, he had a massive heart attack, right? And you can't always feel what's going on in your body. So when I was on his show, I remember being up on panel and going, everybody, get your cholesterol checked. Because that was my issue. I was 253 LDL with HDL. That's really high. That's not just high. The doctor said it was extremely high. I'm like, great. But as most of you know, I took the red yeast rice. It's called red yeast rice supplement pill thing because it works like a statin. I did that for 4 years. Now, I did it so long because it was coming down. My number went down, but it was very slow. 253 to 248. The next year, it was like 244. And the doctor kept telling me, well, you're doing better. You're doing okay. Stick to that Mediterranean diet. Well, I can't stand fish, so it wasn't that Mediterranean. But I ate my fruits and my vegetables when I could, and I bought that butter. I think it's called Bromsfeld or something, and it's in a blue little thing, and it's made out of like yogurt. I did that. I bought the eggs that have no yolks in them in the cartons. I didn't buy margarine. I didn't even buy regular butter. And to this day, for milk, I drink fat free, maybe 1%. I haven't had whole milk or 2% in ages, but I have to really watch my fats. And like anyone else, I like a donut now and then and a piece of pie, and I don't deny myself. I don't. But, when we have fried foods or even pizza, I don't have very much. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe one slice, and sometimes just a sliver. And it's not all the time. And that's the way it is. But, being 58 and having an akismic, which I don't know what that stands for, but thalamic in my thalamus stroke was shocking because I wasn't even 60, but it was that. And my blood pressure was up some. The day of my stroke, it was extremely high. But I didn't know. I felt fine that day. Felt totally fine. And, rode my bicycle, had a bowl of cereal. I was rested, didn't have a headache, wasn't sweating, didn't feel a little out of sorts. Nothing. I just felt numb on the very top of my right wrist. When I pulled my jacket off, because I was, a little warm, the sun was out, and had ridden my bike 20 minutes to the eye appointment. And it felt numb. I was like, wait a minute. Thank God I noticed it, you guys. And I'll end with this. If you have a stroke anyway, that's a clot. If you get to the hospital within the 4 to 5 hours, it might be just 4. Maybe you can get away with 5, not sure. They'll give you this TPA medicine and they put it, they it's dropped into your bloodstream, through your veins, and took 2 days for my hand and my right side to not be numb anymore. But if you end up having a stroke that's hemorrhaging, it doesn't work for that, supposedly. And this TPA, I don't know what it stands for. I used to, because they send you home with a booklet and what to do and everything. 10 years before my stroke, which was 3.5 years ago, it'll be 4 years this February 4th, which, by the way, I looked at my phone the other day. That's Summer Wells' birthday. But Summer Wells isn't even around. So anyway, it'll be my 4-year anniversary of my stroke. But it was invented 10 days prior. So now, or 10 years. So now it's been out, what? Getting close to 14 years. So pay attention to your blood pressure and your cholesterol. And always take your medicine. Always. Don't take your, high blood pressure medicine and then just because your blood pressure is good for 2 solid weeks in a row or something, like stop for even a day or two. I mean, if your doctor says you can, I guess, then you better, but I'm on it for the rest of my life along with my stat. So I went off on a tangent about my stroke, and my show is just to let you guys know that, like, right now, the Tylenol and Motrin have really kicked in. It doesn't even hurt to talk, because if I talk too much, my ear hurts a little. Not my tooth, my ear. So I may not go live for the rest of, or for a good half of this week. Definitely not this weekend. I'll see how I feel well, today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. If I'm feeling okay on Monday, I can do a live on Monday. So thanks for being here, everyone. I love you guys so much. And stay safe. All right. This is PCT is extreme. I did not put my Cash App and PayPal up. If you want to tip me or whatever, great, be helpful, but certainly don't have to. Bye for now. Hi, Pink Rose. No, I can't, Pink Rose. You said go to an older dentist, get your wisdom tooth removed. It's pushing on your teeth, getting rid of that wisdom out. Only relief you're going to get. Hi, Cool Gamer 2. Hi, Tam, Sister Callie. Hi, Morgan. Hi, everybody. Let me just end with this. He doesn't recommend it because it's down on the bottom near the mandibular bone where you can really, really bleed a lot and get infection easily. I mean, he said that immediately before I even said, well, am I going to have it pulled one of these days? He said, I don't recommend it. So, I mean, if it's just throbbing, freaking me out, right? Hi, Artgo Show. Then I will see an ortho, or I mean, what are they called? Is it an orthodontist? I don't know. I can't even think what dentists are called. But yeah, I'll do what I have to do. Uh so yeah, I could use some prayers. Thanks for all the prayers and the love. And thank you for your advice, Pink Rose. Hi, Ann P. Hi, I'm glad I got to catch your name before I end this live. I've been blabbing about my mouth and then the stroke I had. I talk about my stroke because I want to help someone out there someday that might be feeling totally fine and have a little something off in their body and get to the ER because it can save your life. So Bye, you guys. Have a good night, and hopefully I'll be here Monday if I'm feeling up to it. Okay, bye for now. Hit the like, please, and please subscribe if you haven't. I was at 2,462 for 2 days, and then I lost 2, and I was at 2,460, and I was totally fine, but now I've lost another sub. So if just one of you could sub to me, I'd be back up to my goal of 2,460. I'd so appreciate it. Thank you. I will feel better. I'm buying some ice cream tomorrow. I am. Cold feels really good on my teeth. Thanks, you guys.